For 5,000 years, mankind was ruled by the credo that the average man was clueless, idiotic, incapable of taking care of himself, and a total idiot. Alternatively, we're told that the common man was evil, cruel, heartless, treacherous, and that he was incapable of love for his fellow human being. For this reason, we were told that mankind needs an elite to take care of him. A king, a monarch, a class of aristocrats, a caste of bureaucrats to guide his life. For this, he should be grateful. He should be grateful, and he should be happy that there was this caste to take care of him, and he should be happy to pay taxes to. Then in the 1770s came a startling development. A group of men in America got fed up with being told that they were clueless and idiotic and incapable of taking care of themselves, incapable of love for their fellow man. They said, on the contrary, we hold these truths to be true, that man is good and kind and autonomous, and that we can take care of our fellow man, and we will take care of our fellow man. When Thomas Jefferson writes that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, he's taken as a premise that the average man is good and autonomous, and that he can take care of his own self while providing for the needy, without the help of an elite, without the help of bureaucrats, without the help of a king. For thousands of years, technology had barely progressed. And then, all of a sudden, as you know if you've read Skousen's 5,000-Year Leap, following the American Revolution and the Industrial Revolution and the advent of the patent law, technology started jumping ahead by leaps and by bounds. From the steamship to the railroad, from the sewing machine to street lighting, from the McCormick Reaper to mowing machines, from the telegraph to the telephone, from the photograph to the cinema, from steel to the skyscraper, and from the bicycle to the automobile, from the airplane to the rocket, from the personal computer to the smartphone. And perhaps most important of all, from the stethoscope and chloroform and anesthesia to all the medicines that prolong lives and that put an end to the early deaths of children and infants. And since the 1770s, and all throughout the time of unprecedented progress, there's been a backlash from elite progressives, and not least by foreign countries and by their leaders, by their monarchs and their elites, to demonize everything in the American Republic. Their main purpose in life seems to be to point out the alleged fallacies in the belief of the Founding Fathers, the alleged hypocrisy of the American creed, whatever it takes to show that life in the Republic is an absolute hellhole, and that American history is but one long line of crimes and injustice. They'll show a crook or a racist or a member of the armed forces who committed an atrocity, and they will say, "See, this is how deep down Americans really are." Since then, since the 1770s, they've done everything at every turn in the road to try to exacerbate the victimhood status of one part of the American population, while exacerbating the alleged victimizer status of the other part of the population. Do you happen to have heard this chant? We are the 99%. And in that process, they look for a father figure, or an older brother figure, to lead the nation of clueless retards like a messiah would lead his flock. And how dare we ungrateful small people criticize this father figure who has taken care of us, and who is using our money more wisely than we would ourselves, and who is acting for our own good. The examples are true, we are wrong. But the examples are not true, or if they are true, we know that they are not a feature of American generals. We know not to throw the proverbial baby out with the bathwater. We know that for every Bernie Madoff, there are 49 capitalists who earned their money honestly. And we know that for every crooked bank manager, there are 49 banks with no need of government oversight. We know that for every My Lai and for every Major Cali, there are 49 soldiers and sailors and Marines and pilots of the United States of America who are good and decent and dutiful and courageous and patriotic. We know that for every crime involving a gun, there are 49 instances where a gun stopped a crime or prevented crime from occurring in the first place. We know that for every tragic accident involving alcohol or tobacco, there are 49 Americans perfectly capable of handling their booze and of smoking in a responsible adult fashion with no need of a prohibition-like environment. In short, what we know is that the generalizations that the liberals make are not supported by the facts. What is important to realize is that if the liberals' viewpoint is correct, it can only be true that we are clueless. And the very fact that we do not see that we are clueless is proof in itself that we are in need of a King George or of an Obama or of a Che Guevara or of any member of the Kennedy family. But because our eyes are open, we know that the liberals and the statist self-serving judgments are not true, and that man is good, and that man has common sense, and that man is capable of taking care of himself without government oversight, and that the society in which he lives is capable of surviving and of taking care of the needy without mountain loads of taxes on his back. And thus to liberals everywhere and to statists everywhere, we repeat this: it is because man is good and kind and self-sufficient that it is for that very reason that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.